Do you want to go out, Toddy? You want to go outside? Well, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Good job. And here we are. It is Monday. Monday. The Super Bowl's over. There really are a lot less population out here in the desert. And it's about 9 o'clock in the morning. Is it 9? It's 9:23. It's about 50 degrees. No wind. Sun's up. And we're out for our daily walk, right, Dottie? Let's see, what's on the agenda today? Not much. I was thinking, do I have an excuse to go into town? And the only excuse I really have is I'm close to running out of paper towels. How's that? I got nothing else. I may think of something. I don't know. I don't think I have the energy today, but I do need to get to that. There's a new discount grocer in Blythe that people are raving about that I wanted to check out. So I might do that this week. Later this week, I definitely have plans. Thursday, I'm going to meet with the orthopedic surgeon on my potential hip replacement. And I say potential only because I don't want to jinx it. I have seen an x-ray of my hip, and it's obvious to anyone that there is an enormous difference between the left hip and the right hip. The left hip, the ball of the ball going into the socket is surrounded by a nice thick coating of nicely lubricated cartilage. And the right side, there's not even a hint of it. There's nothing. Doesn't exist. And I've been pretty miserable for two and a half years now. And it's, here's what's interesting. The first time before I discovered it was my hip, I was 2 years ago, not last season, but the season before, I suddenly started getting a very acute pain in my right thigh, top of my leg. And I thought I pulled the muscle, and I kept thinking it would get better, and it just got worse and worse and worse to the point where I had to have a cane to get around. And when I left here, I went to Pahrump, and I went to a physical therapist. And that's the first hint I got, where the guy said, this may be a hip problem with your hip. He wasn't sure. They don't do diagnosis there. While the physical therapy was rigorous, it was 3 times a week, and it was pretty painful, and it wasn't helping. So then I went to a chiropractor, and the chiropractor does x-rays. So he did a full set of x-rays, and he said, my friend, this is your root problem. And he brought the x-ray up and showed that right hip, and he said, I can help you alleviate some of the pain and make it easier on you if you keep coming back to me, but I can't cure you. And I was saying, well, I don't really have the insurance to get the hip replacement. He said, well, I can probably keep you going for a while, so let's do that. And I got off the what do you call it? The cane. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. I no longer had to use the cane, and I haven't had that. That pain hasn't really come back. It came back for like a day or two this year, but then it dissipated again. I think that chiropractor did a lot of good in all the adjustments he made, but right now it's a constant low-grade pain on a 10 scale, 10 being the worst, 0 being no pain. It's a 2 to 3 pretty constant and consistently if on my feet. If I'm in my recliner, pain goes to 0, but like walking right now, I'm gonna say I call it more discomfort than pain. It's 2 to 3. But there are things like getting up from a seated position is the pain needle jumps up to about a 6. And the really odd one is rolling from one side to another in bed is painful. Just that roll is a momentary 7 or 8 out of 10. So it's pretty exhausting. And hopefully the surgery will eliminate that. And I am going to do a video series on it and film as much as I possibly can and talk you through the whole process with me from the insurance through the consultation, details about the type of surgery he's going to do, and my recovery, what that's like. And we are back already. And Dottie, you haven't pooped, have you? You gonna get up in your bed? Well, this is, you don't see this scene much with me sitting down outside out here, but it's pretty nice today. I think maybe I'll get a cup of coffee and sit out here with Dottie and watch the morning kind of take form. Right, Dot? She's just thinking about breakfast, aren't you? Are you hungry? Are you hungry, Dottie? Do you want your breakfast? I think so. Come on in and I'll show you what it's like to that homemade food I do for Dottie. Come on in. Come on, get inside. Yeah, she's here. Getting a nice drink of water. This is a constant battle here, this George hair. It just blew right back in. It's a constant battle with dog hair and cat hair. And speaking of cat hair, there's a lazy cat. There's a lazy kitty. George, what are you doing, kitty? All right, okay. I know you've probably seen, well, George is empty too. Well, George already had breakfast. George ate that. So, I know, I'm coming. I'm doing it, Dottie. All right. So, after I make the food, I'm going to put it in these vacuum sealer bags. All right. I put just under a cup per meal for Dottie, based on her size. Yeah, that's a little short. There we go. And she will enjoy that. And I keep that in the fridge. But I make a pretty big batch at a time, and I'll show you here. Oh, I thought I had oh, here it is. I couldn't find it for a second. Here's what it looks like frozen. And there's, about 5 days worth in here. So I get about 15 days out of about 5 pounds of beef in packages of frozen vegetables, and I cook it all up thoroughly in the Instant Pot. And Dottie's a fan, aren't you? Are you already done? Almost. She's proud of her membership in the Clean Bowl Club. Let me know when you're done. I can put, because we're going to go back outside. I think she's done. There you go. And Dottie, we'll get some headphones, and we'll put the jacket back on, and we'll hang out outside. I know she loves being outside, don't you, Dottie? All right. I should have just left her hooked up, because we're going to go right back outside again. All right, go on. All right, hang on. We got our little end table here. Well, why don't you get on your bed? Okay, I know this is a pretty boring video, but there's just not much going on today. And I'll either tack an ending onto this, or maybe if I do a run into town, I'll include it on this one. Either way, I'll see you in a minute. So I got inside and cleaned up a little, started watching a little YouTube. And as I'm sitting here, I'm looking over on the bed here, and I thought, you know what? My viewers would probably like to see this. Check this out. There's Dottie and George. Both of them just kind of staring at me, wondering what I'm up to. Am I talking to them? Dottie's slightly more interested than George. So I don't think it's an accident that so many people that I know in this lifestyle, so many of my friends, have pets. Are there hardships on the road with pets? You bet. It's hard to, keep going back to one vet if you're constantly moving. There are areas where it's hard to find veterinarians. And you always have to think, especially if you're boondocking, you always have to think about the welfare of your pets while you're gone. Especially during the warmer season, you don't want them to suffer while you're gone, because these trailers can heat up really, really fast, much faster than a home heats up. And so you need to be prepared for that. There's a couple of things that I do. Um, I'm lucky enough to be able to afford to have a big enough um, solar system. I've got 700 amp hours of battery, and when that's fully charged, I can remotely turn on my air conditioner and run it off the batteries, and it'll run for a few hours. It'll give me plenty of time to get back from wherever I am and uh, make sure my Dottie and George are okay. In general, cats will tolerate a little bit more heat than dogs will, but I get concerned. I want to be notified if my rig gets over 90 degrees. Um, and, for half an hour, 45 minutes, right at the low 90s, we're going to be okay. I might start just heading back and not trigger the AC. But anything 95 and above I don't think it's any good for either a cat or a dog. So um, I fire that up. I do have um, I replaced the thermostat in the rig with one that was pretty expensive, but it ties into Wi-Fi, so I can monitor the temperature from really anywhere in the world. Now, not only do you need a thermostat that ties to Wi-Fi, you have to have Wi-Fi on all the time. And I don't always have my Starlink going because it takes it takes some energy. It takes about 50 to 65 watts constantly to keep that going. But I do have um, a DC powered router for AT&T, and that's always on. Even the inverter could be off, and that's going to be on, and that's what that device is tied into. So it gives me peace of mind to take care of these two kids while I'm gone. George, what do you think? Giddy? George? I could scream at George, and George is looking like at the ground. It's ignoring me. Dottie's watching me though. Dottie's interested when I'm talking, whether I'm talking to her or I'm talking to the camera. Dottie's interested. George, not so much. Anyway, I'm piecing this video together almost a frame at a time. I have no idea what's going to come, but you're going to find out almost right now. Well, I hope you're not too disappointed. I didn't get to a place where I did anything at all interesting today. So this is going to be the end of the video today. Maybe I'll have a more interesting thing tomorrow. Who knows? But again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.